Go on with it, go on with it. Blessings all for my life, man. My thank God for the journey, the earnings, and just for the plus. Gratitude is a must. Blessings fall by my right hand.
Oh, baby. Hey. You okay? You woke up screaming.
Did I?
Yeah.
Hi guys, it's your favorite mystic, TheSirenSayz, and welcome back to my channel. I gotta say, was there certain annoying aspects of this episode? Sure, you can't shed all of your skin, just some of it, but I really did enjoy like the last 10 minutes of this episode. I felt tears welling up again. Two times in 2 episodes, we get good scenes that make us feel something. And I gotta give it up to the writers. Clap it up, because yes, this is what I wanted for years, begging Tyler Perry, please, let the relationships make sense, let the friendships make sense, give us more moments, give us more backstory. Finally, we're getting a little bit of the culmination of all of the worry. I will talk about everything, but I want to talk about the great scenes first and then doodle off with the stuff I didn't really care for after. The baby shower was really good. But let me talk about one thing I did not like about the baby shower. Okay. So, you know what? Before we get into the baby shower, disclaimers. These people are not real. We are just talking about characters. What we like or dislike does not matter at this point. You'll see it when we see it, okay? This kind of goes into the baby shower. Look. So the boys are back. The boys are back, here to do it again, and they make it look good. All right. Yeah, the original lyrics are they make it look good, but not these boys. So Tony, Rich, pull up to try and find Jordan. And at first I thought it was cute, come on, Ninja, you better come outside. Come on. Like I was like, oh, look at them being there for their little friend. Even though I don't really like them. I tried to be impartial and enjoy certain things, but you know who ruined it for me? Tony. And let me take a second to say, I've been on the Tony dislike train since the beginning. I've never liked Tony. I've never said anything nice about Tony. I've always thought he was fake and fraudulent, and the things that he does have in common with Danny are not things that are helpful, and I feel like he's a crock of crap. And this scene and this episode validated me. Doesn't matter if you disagree, we all have our opinions, but I feel validated, and ain't nobody gonna take that away from me. Jordan lets them into the house, right? They start asking him what's going on. So that answered the question I had last week about whether or not Andy broke up with him or told him what Gary said. Obviously, she dumped him, which is why we see him in a little bit of a stupor when we get back to this next episode. But, right? What ends up happening, right? You see that apparently Rich and Tony are uncomfortable talking about Andy, that they don't like her anymore because of what happened. Fine. That's their friend. I'll give that to them, I guess. But why couldn't Tony, in this particular scene, because Rich annoyed me later, but in this particular scene, why couldn't Tony have taken Rich's approach? To the Andy situation in this particular scene. Tony called Andy a female dog, bro. And of course you're going to say, he was just using it in a metaphor. He didn't necessarily mean it with his full chest. Yes, he did. Because you could see it's like he was ready to verbally buck up to Andy when he saw her at the baby shower. In what world? In what world, bro, do you have the right to say that? And that is why I told you guys I was not falling for the protect black women, we love black women speech in the bus when they all first came on the show. I thought it was performative. And for some strange reason, Tyler Perry didn't think, let's prove everybody who may not like this wrong. Why couldn't I have been wrong? Would it have been so bad for y'all to have proven me wrong in this point? For the men to consistently be good with no red flags anywhere, and for me to just be a hater who is obsessed with the old regime? That could have been me, but nah. I'm justified. Why would you say that, Tony? Why would you look at Andy like that? What is wrong with you? What is the actual point of this? I cannot stand him. And I need Daddy to let him go. Let him go. Don't sit here and fight this woman, this militia woman for him. Don't do it. It's a waste of time. You're wasting my time. I don't appreciate it. All right. Rich, I don't got nothing to say about Rich. I usually don't have much to say about Rich. I feel like he's making the wrong choice staying with Sabrina because he's holding her back and he's caging himself in. Because you don't want to be a stepdad. That's all I got to say about Rich. So, to the baby shower. To the baby shower. To the window. To the wall. Zach meets Tony and Rich for the first time. And he's just not helpful at all. He's not helpful at all. He meets Tony. Ooh, I didn't realize that him and Tony actually look alike. They have super similar features. And they're going to be like, they're noir. No. Their noses are shaped similarly. Their faces are also shaped similarly. And they have very similar builds. I think it's very interesting that Zach and Fatima and Danny and Tony are kind of mirrors of each other look-wise. Because I was telling y'all that Zach deep down likes Danny, and that's why Fatima is here. And now it looks like Danny deep down likes Zach because she got a Zach look-alike, but with darker skin. I didn't even realize they looked alike to this degree until I saw them looking at each other. It's crazy. But yeah, Zach meets them for the first time. He's being completely unhelpful. They ask for advice, like, since we're dating Sabrina and Danny, what should we know about them? What should we know about the girls? His statement to them is, they'll always surprise you. Really? This is not me saying that he should have said something hurtful, but I don't necessarily see the point in him just saying something so flowery and just not helpful at all. They already know that. They barely know anything about these girls. They are surprised every 3 to 5 business days with these women because they don't take the time to get to know them. And that problem has still not been rectified. Okay? I know I said I like this episode, but hey, I didn't like everything and I have to get out the small things and the big things, okay? Alright, so just to go into the next scene really quickly, but just to finish off what I was saying, actually. Zach, that was not helpful. You could have said a myriad of things. You could have given Tony some actual advice as to how Danny is, because Danny has actually come to you for advice on her relationship with Tony. You could have let him know some good attributes that Danny needs in a relationship by bringing up little tidbits about what Preston would do. Now, I know that's not, he doesn't have to bring up the word Preston, but bring up good examples of their relationship and say that you hope that she is being treated like this and like that. You know what I mean? You could have actually been interesting and actually been helpful, but instead you just kiki in. Like, nobody cares about that, Zach. Nobody. Anyways, Danny and Fatima have a chat. I like when Danny and Fatima are together, even though I don't like Danny, and Fatima gets on my nerves with how she just sits there with Zach all the time. But them together is something I've always wanted, so I appreciate their interactions. Danny can see that Fatima is going to be feeling a way being here. Asks her if she's okay. Very cute, very appreciated. You see, Danny has a lot of likable things about her, but she's just so annoying that it mutes her better qualities, is what I'll say, right? So they have a cute, beautiful little conversation about their relationships and about Fatima being here with Karen. Fatima is trying to hold it all together, but it's okay. Now, let's talk about Andy, all right? So she comes in. Everybody's like, wow, where have you been? She's so freaked out about Gary, and for some reason she hasn't told Fatima. I don't know why she didn't tell Fatima now. I know in the soon to come she told Fatima, she has told Fatima at this point, but she didn't tell her before, and I don't know why she didn't tell Fatima. Also, I don't understand why Fatima couldn't just figure out that it had something to do with Gary, because I'm pretty sure she dang near name dropped him when she was like fretting in the room. She said she made it clear that it has to do with Gary. So I don't understand why you couldn't put 2 and 2 together. Not the whole marriage plot, but that's things going on with Gary. Let me push to find out more, or let me go pull up to Gary with the blink. I don't understand. I don't understand why Fatima specifically was so confused as to what is happening. Everybody else being out of the loop, fine. Even though I don't necessarily think everybody should be this naive, fine. But Fatima being sort of naive in the situation doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, let's continue what I was saying. Sabrina and Danny ask Andy what's going on. And at first she's kind of resistant for obvious reasons, but she's about to tell them when Tony and Rich walk up. And this scene is deplorable. First of all, baby shower is in her house. Baby shower's for Karen. Y'all have never met Karen. Ever. Why are you here? Why are you here? If I was Karen, I wouldn't want your boyfriends to be here. Because I'm single and I got baby daddies behind me. I don't want your boyfriends over here. Why are your boyfriends here? They don't need to be here. They never met her, right? And now you know that they're salty because they think Andy intentionally broke up with Jordan, Air Jordan, to be a terrible person or whatever. So they come, they're giving her the dirty looks, they're ignoring her, and she's like, well, I guess I deserve that. Maybe in a certain universe, but not in your own house, not in your safe space. You don't deserve to be ignored in your own home. Since you're in her home, you have to be polite. Idiots. Bacas. You have to be polite. It is her house. If the baby shower was in Karen's salon, Sabrina's tiny house, anywhere that wasn't Andy's home, I still wouldn't like the cold shoulder, but I can't fight it. You can't be rude in her home. It just compounds how disrespectful they are towards women. And Tyler Perry, I knew it. I knew it. It was fake and fraudulent, their behavior. And it makes me want the girls to leave them. But I've been saying this for a long time. And you know what, Rich? I was giving you all these passes, but you're about to be on the hit list next. Just one more thing. You got one more time. One more time to do something nonsensical. And you and Tony will be right there, neck and neck. Neck and neck. All right. So they disrespect her. Danny, her wisdom goes out the window for plot, right? And all of a sudden, right, she can't read the room and tries to get Andy to explain herself in front of the men who just gave her the cold shoulder. You know, like that makes any sense to anybody. Like, Danny, do better. Please. I'm begging you. Sabrina also doubles down on Danny's point, trying to get her to open up. Why are you being so secretive? Your boyfriends do not like her. She's not going to tell you anything in front of them. Why are you all so dumb and dense? Why? That's so weird to me. In any case, Maurice has a semi-humorous moment. It was kind of funny close to the end, but not funny overall. Air is visibly uncomfortable. I'm sorry, my brother. 2 Hail Marys. Anyways, just to move on super quickly. Oof. Just to pause the baby shower a little bit. Hayden and Tamira, bro. Let me tell you right now, Hayden and Tamira's scene. At first, I was just kind of like, you just kind of threw me out there. This scene kind of came out of nowhere. Andy and Hayden had a scene at the office. Miss Marie isn't very impressed. She needs concrete proof that her husband is cheating so she can get all the money. And they've only found traces. Like, it's possible, but it's still kind of difficult to prove. She berates them. Also kind of clues into what I said the first time she let Hayden in on the case, which is that she doesn't care for Hayden, but she's allowing Hayden to be on the case because she's attracted to him. And so I said that, actually. Go back and check the statistics. But she made it pretty obvious here, because she even said that she thinks Andy's a better lawyer than Hayden, which is just kind of like, You always complain about how you want the best of the best. Why would you get a subpar lawyer to work with Andy unless you were attracted to him? So that answers that. I was correct on that. Me 15, Tyler Perry's 2. So after that, Miss Marie propositions him and says, "Let's go to the office." So when he gets home, you could like floss a little bit, like maybe you have a toothbrush, Hayden, but you couldn't floss. Okay. He comes home. Tamira's acting all lovey-dovey and fake, semi-fake, but fake. And I say semi-fake. I think she cares about Hayden a tiny bit, but not a lot. So she kisses him. There's a pubic hair in her mouth. Look, the absolute ridiculousness of that scene killed me. I was like, oh my god, no, we're not gonna do this. But she accuses him of something, but then he accuses her right back and say, you can't say anything to me until you tell me what you got going on. And I'm like, look, he got a point. Tamira, you cheated first. You can't be upset when you cheated first. Yeah, but also he grimy. So I feel like the Marie thing would have happened whether you cheated or not. Just my little guess, we'll see. Now, to the most beautiful scene. Karen, my girl. I did want to get on you because I kind of forgot when I spoke about the Danny and her scene specifically. I kind of left out the fact that in the end, she didn't really give a full real apology, just a half one, where she said, "I'm sorry that we didn't have this conversation sooner." Why would you say that instead of, "I'm sorry for the way I've been treating you. I promise to be more respectful and sensitive towards you and your feelings"? That's all you could have said. Like, you didn't have to follow through, but at least say the right words. But this is the thing about Karen, she can't really be fake either. I think that's one of the reasons why her and Danny clash a lot, because neither of them can be fake, and so that means that they are going to hurt each other. Danny tries a little bit less to be hurtful, but she'll still, yeah. So I guess that was just her being real, but it's still, girl, do better. Do better. That was very disappointing when I watched the scene back. I was like, oh, I should have said something about that. So I'm saying it now. She disappointed me in that scene, but she made up for it here. Now I want to say, last semi-negative point, I don't understand why she didn't make Andy the godparent. Andy's the one who lent her all the money. The one who she would be more likely to stay at the person's house. I know Sabrina is nice and what she said about her and Danny is true, but I don't necessarily understand why she didn't make Andy the godmother. And I feel like if Andy wasn't going through what she went through with Gary, she would actually be way more upset about the fact that Karen did not make her the godmother, in my personal opinion. I feel like she's being way too adversarial with Danny at the moment to make Danny the godmother, but I see that she's really trying to bury the hatchet, and instead of making Andy the godmother, she just decides to sort of like share it between the two friends that she neglects the most as her way of sort of building the bridge. So I guess I don't mind it. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so just to move on really quickly, I thought it was a little weird, but I did appreciate the softness and it did give me some fuzzy feelings. I liked it. I like when Karen is nice. When Karen is nice, it brightens up the show and it almost changes the tone of the show. I also think one of the reasons why the show became so unbearable is because Karen became more unbearable than usual for like 4 years straight. Like for 4 years straight, she was way more unbearable than usual. And it brought down the tone of the show. And honestly, her being nice and being more sensitive brings up the tone of the show. Like, you heard me complain about what I complained about before. But when Karen is being nice, I almost forget about those things. I had to jog my memory to discuss what I was discussing before. I gotta say, her address to Fatima was beautiful when she brought up what she noticed, which is why she said before when she was speaking to Danny in the last episode that she does think Fatima is a cool person, but she just can't necessarily let go of the Zach thing all the way to be cool with her all the time, which is stupid, but I'll let it slide because you did something really nice here. She says that she sees how Fatima takes care of Zach's son and how she makes Zach be a better person. She actually acknowledged that, right? That was just really beautiful. I teared up a little bit. Nothing fell out my eyes, but I teared up a little bit. It's probably one of the most emotional scenes in the show, and I gotta say, it wouldn't have been this emotional if they weren't fighting all the time. It wouldn't have been. So I guess one of the little tactics worked out in their favor, I guess. But that was just a beautiful scene. I almost could have rewatched it. We also get to find out the gender of the babies. The babies are both girls. You know, Zach gets his karma back in waves. And, you know, Zach and Aaron behaved themselves. Very proud of the young gentlemen. Okay, they behaved themselves. But, you know, Aaron was always going to behave himself. It would just be up to Zach to keep everything tight together, and he did. So, good job, Zach. See, I'll give him something. Also, Fatima and Karen have another moment. You know, they thank each other for the mutuality. And then Karen asks Fatima, how is Andy doing? Her recognizing that she might know a little bit more about Andy's problems than she does at the moment, and instead of being jealous, just, you know, requesting a little heads up. I really appreciated that. They spoke about Andy mutually, respectfully, and, you know, Andy's about to leave. Then here we go with a crazy scene. You know, I don't like Gary. He's a criminal. But this scene was fun. It was very much Hayden coded. I don't know why they're making him act so much more like Hayden within these last 2 seasons. But this scene was very Hayden coded, and so I enjoyed it. Actually, I enjoyed it. I didn't like it at first, but 2 seconds and I was like, you know what? Let me just hear it. And he went off. When he called Sabrina a bank robber. I'm like, look, you're never gonna live that down, ever. But anyways, so he comes out, exposes that he is going to marry her, and everybody's shocked and appalled. Rich runs home to go tell Air Jordan that, you know, leave Andy be. Like, this is how I know you don't know anything. Why wouldn't you talk to Sabrina? What do you know about Gary? Do you think this is a legit proposal? Or, because of what I know Jordan told me about his sister and the dangers, could it be that Andy might be in trouble? Do we not have common sense here? Is everybody riding on emotions? I thought the males are supposed to be riding on testosterone. I don't get it. I don't get why everybody was just so, Andy, how could you? This is not 3 years ago when she actually was semi-considering being married to Gary. This is like way before now. Way before. Also, he said he doesn't invite the ghetto bunch. I'm trying to figure out who he was talking about. Looks like it might be Danny, which makes sense. You know, he shouldn't invite the people who could actually beat him up. I mean, no. You know, Gary, you can't invite the people who could actually beat you in a fight. You could never. So anyways, that was the episode. I guess no, that's not the episode. Poor me. Penelope, she has risen, called Jordan, so I guess, you know, no more secrecy or decorum, and, you know, suddenly tells him, you better go fight for Andy back, which obviously she would say that. Jordan don't want to hear it though, because he's hurt. Even though everything you found out about Gary, she brought up Gary when she came to break up with you. That means you need to ask more questions. I know that as a viewer, I am obviously skeptical because I already know everything, but I feel like all of these characters have just enough Gary knowledge to be highly suspicious of Andy saying anything about him and then bursting into tears. Gary, I know. Okay, what's going on? She wasn't smiling. She wasn't looking seductive. She wasn't looking like, haha, I'm be with Gary. Common sense is different. I feel like if you want to come across like she just broke his heart and she didn't feel anything, make her act different then. Grief. Like, she was better at hiding her emotions that time right before Robin disappeared. When she was like playing around with Gary to keep him distracted. She had way less emotion then than she does now. So y'all don't really have an excellent excuse for this, in my personal opinion. Anyways, to move on to the very last part, Sabrina, wow. Sabrina, wow. Are you gonna leave Rich? Are you going to leave Rich? Because I think allowing one of the I'm not gonna call him. I'm just gonna call him a manager because I know he's kind of above her. The guy above you to be a sperm donor. I don't. You think Rich would be okay with that? I think at this point I might know him better than you do. I don't. That honestly, her even considering Calvin as a sperm donor meant that she was desperate and she would have taken anybody who looked like they qualified. Girl, are you for real? Obviously this man likes you and you're acting like you don't see that either, but hey, that's your business, it's your relationship. I don't have to care about it if you don't. But really, you're really gonna really sit here and consider his half cocked offer to be a sperm donor? That's just so weird. And once again, I'll say in real life, it would be more difficult to find black donors than white ones that were capable. But she wants a black baby. But instead she made it seem like all the white donors were dummies. When in reality it's okay, fine. Look, this was stupid. I was flabbergasted. And Sabrina, you're insane. You are actually clinically insane. You need to do better. Because I don't know how you think you're going to keep a relationship with this man doing something like this. He's barely okay with the idea of you having a baby. Yeah. Just leave him for the bank manager guy. Just leave. Leave him and get with the bank manager guy. It's okay. It's okay. But we're all for it. You have more in common with him anyway. Alright, nobody's gonna be mad at you. Just do it. Because this is just too messy for me. Too messy. It's just insane. But it is better than what Gary got going on in this storyline. So I still prefer it, but it's very messy. It's very messy, Sabrina. And I know you would like to think of yourself in the friend group as the least dramatic one. This is a lot. This is on the level of Karen having 2 baby daddies for the twins. That's how dramatic this is. Alright? But in any case, please let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know your thoughts. This episode is actually way better. Episode hasn't been this good in years. I haven't enjoyed myself this much in years watching this show. So this was great. You know, I know I asked them to keep this up and they did it. So I'm just gonna ask for you to bring Robin back. Yeah, bring Robin back. Remove Gary from the show, and then maybe my ire will decrease. Yeah, how about that? Also, keep up the Karen progression. I need her to like do better all across the board. I also appreciate that she didn't annoy me when it came to Aaron, because I forgot to say in the last episode, she said something about Aaron I didn't like, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. Maybe later on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Goodbye, my sires. You have a great rest of your weekend. Sue.